And when it comes to big snakes, certainly Daisy is the one that I would consider my biggest animal ambassador to be able to handle. Hey, good morning everybody. Welcome to the vlog. Yep, it's snowing. And I hope the start of your day is absolutely amazing. You know, a lot of people are always asking me questions about what I call my animal ambassadors, kind of my pets. And don't get me wrong, there are tons of animals that I still consider my pets or ambassadors, but the ones that people know the most about, that would be Bella and RJ and so on like that. And I've been kind of promising you guys that I would do a vlog just about them, kind of where they were, the story behind them and stuff like that. So I'm going to do my best to cover as many of them, if not all of them today, if I possibly can, starting with this guy right here. This, of course, is Savvy. He is Speedy's little buddy, and what happened was I actually had called out and said that I needed a girlfriend for Speedy because Speedy was humping the ground. And enter Savvy. There was an amazing person that had Savvy for like 10 or 12 years, and they thought that Savvy was a girl. Her name was Savannah. They reached out to me and said, we need to rehome this. We would love for you to take it and have it as a friend for Speedy. So I said, of course. And we met in Cleveland, Ohio. We got her here. Speedy loved her. It all went well. And then we found out that Savannah was actually a boy because his little dinghy came out and he was humping the ground too. So as it turns out, Savannah turned into Savvy, and Savvy is just amazing. But hey, he's only half of this dynamic tortoise duo. The other half would of course be my guy Speedy here. How I actually got Speedy was I rescued two sulcata way back about 8 years ago, and he was about a quarter of the size that he is now. We ended up rehoming one of them and deciding to keep Speedy as a pet. He's been with me again for about 8 years now. I'm not really sure how old he is because when I got him, he was probably already 4 years old, 3 years old. I'm not 100% sure, but as you guys know, he is so amazing and I love him so much. And he spends the entire summer out in my backyard, and this year Savvy's gonna be with him in the backyard. They're gonna have all kinds of room, but for now, these guys are kind of our shelled puppies. They just run around the shop and they keep us company all day. Then of course, there's my girl Bella. I absolutely love this animal, and you guys know it. She is such an amazing animal. She truly is like the reptile version of a dog. I mean, she just is amazing. And actually, Lori surprised me with Bella when we were at the NARBC Tinley Park show. And there was a guy named Bill Bedard who had Bella since a baby, and she was about a year old, and he just kind of ran out of space. And it was time for him to find a new home. Lori knew that I've always loved rhino iguanas, and I've always wanted one. So she went over to Bill, who we had known really for 15 or 20 years, and asked him if she could purchase him for me, and she surprised me with it that night. Ironically enough, that was the weekend that I had the parasite, so I was really sick. I had a big fever, I hadn't eaten in days, and it was so amazing to have Bella in the hotel room with me. Just kind of comforted me when I felt so bad. But Bella is amazing, and I cannot wait to get her in a really big cage next door, even though she runs around here most days. The truth is she's gonna have a great enclosure, and then we can just continue to play with her. She is so amazing, and everyone that sees her just loves her to death. Again, I'm gonna just let her run around today because that's what I always do. She is such an amazing animal. I love you, Bella. You're such a good girl. Such a good girl. Then of course there's Karma here. Karma is an amazing nosy bee Panther Chameleon. He actually came from a friend of mine named Evan out of Camo Chameleons, and it is absolutely such an amazing animal, and he loves hormones. Take a look, he's gonna go get it. There he goes. Get it, get it, get it, get it, get it, get it, get it. Ah, you got it. Good job, Karma. Oh my gosh, that is so awesome. Now, Karma is about 2.5 years old now. They'll typically go at least 7 or 8 years or so, so he's still got a long way to go. But I love feeding him hormones in particular because he loves them to death. And I think that Karma is going to be really cool next door because not only will he have a big cage, but we're also going to do some vines outside of the cage. So during the day, we'll just let him kind of crawl around on the vines so that people can get really close and see him outside of the cage. I think he's going to love it, and I think people are going to love him. Then you have my boy Fetty Wap here. Of course, Noah named Fetty Wap because he's missing an eye, but in actuality, he's kind of been opening his eye over the last few months, and it seems like he has a little eye, but certainly it was something was damaged. And something you'll hear a lot about the animals that are kind of my ambassadors is the fact that a lot of them are rescues. And sure enough, Fetty Wap was just a rescue. Because when he had the messed up eye, we just kind of felt bad for him, and we thought we needed a bearded dragon for like educational shows anyways, and so Fetty has been absolutely amazing. I love him to death, and again, he's going to do really well with more educational shows, and that's really the purpose of Next Door more than anything. Not only to keep animals and just really enjoy them and all that stuff, but it's the educational value. The fact that there'll be birthday parties, school events, not only there, but we can go and do outreach shows. That's what I really am about. My career kind of changed from like breeding reptiles to really educating people and getting people to love them. So Fetty is certainly a great ambassador for that. I'm not 100% sure where Snoop Frog is going to fit into the educational things, but I think when he gets big, like the size of a dinner plate, he'll definitely be something that catches a lot of people's eyes. Regardless, I just think he's a cool frog, and the name Snoop Frog definitely catches a lot of people's attention. Even though Snoop Frog isn't like a handling kind of type of frog per se, the fact is people still will love him. Certainly my girl Perdita here, the cow reticulated python, is going to be an animal ambassador. She actually came from Kevin McCurley over at New England Reptile Distributors, a good friend of mine and an amazing reptile breeder. He produced her, and me and him got talking, and I said, I need a cow retic in my life, and so he picked out what he thought was going to be an amazing example, and I couldn't be happier with her. And the big snakes as a whole are just great animal ambassadors, because people are always just shocked when they see amazing big animals. Perdita's a long way off from being a big animal, but she's still an amazing one, and a lot of people that come to visit are going to get an opportunity to see her grow. Hey guys, so I was going to show you Sunny, my Sunglow Arabesque boa, because I was like, he's probably my boa that I would consider my ambassador because he's so tame. And guess what? For the very first time, he's breeding this girl. You see his tail wrapped in the back there? She's a little bit feisty, so I can't really get around to her, but you can see he's got his tail wrapped around her tail, and he's breeding, so that is awesome. Sunny finally figured it out, and he decided he was going to breed. That is so cool. With any luck, he'll be a daddy later in this year, but that's exciting. But again, Sunny is a great animal. He's certainly an animal ambassador, and I am super stoked that he's actually breeding. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I got Sunny from a friend of mine locally that was breeding some boa constrictor. It's a Call Albino Sunglow Arabesque boa, and Sunny's about 3 years old now. And when it comes to big snakes, certainly Daisy is the one that I would consider my biggest animal ambassador to be able to handle when she's at least big like this. I consider Lucy an animal ambassador too, although I'll probably never be taking her out and playing with her with kids or something. Still, just people seeing her and being inquisitive and wanting to learn is where her role is going to be. But both Daisy and Lucy are reticulated pythons that I produced about 7.5 or 8 years ago. And Daisy is starting to get really heavy compared to what she used to be because we've been feeding her pretty heavy. Oh my gosh, she can wear you out, but what an amazing animal. Can you imagine if you were a 10 or 12-year-old kid and around professionals, of course, myself and my crew, they took out an animal like Daisy and you were able to get close and touch her and feel how amazing she is? She is such an awesome animal, and I love her to death. Certainly another large snake that is going to really probably be my main animal ambassador when it comes to kids is going to be Sunrise, of course, and her predecessor Sunshine certainly changed so many people's minds about big constricting snakes, and Sunrise is just as awesome as far as her personality and the fact how she loves to be handled. She's starting to go into shed right now, and again, a lot of snakes get more aggressive when they start to shed, and you can see, look at how cute she is. She's such an adorable animal. No signs of aggression whatsoever. I love this animal, and I actually got her when she was just little. She was probably only 2 or 3 months old. It was, believe it or not, from a local pet shop. A friend of mine, Ben, actually called me up and said, hey, I was just in a pet shop and I saw a little baby albino berm, and I know that you've been looking for one. You might want to go check it out. So we went and checked it out. We said, hey, we gotta get it, and I bought this little girl just over a year ago. Again, she was probably only 24 inches a year ago, and here we sit now. Look at how big she is. It's kind of like I've got my Brittany moments going on. She is amazing. Rick and Morty are certainly some of my newer animal ambassadors, and for those of you that haven't seen, this is a two-headed red-eared slider. Look at how cute those two little faces are. They're doing great. They're both eating. They're doing amazing. I cannot wait till they get bigger. They are such cute little guys. And again, I don't know that we'll be taking this one out a lot, but just think if you went into a kind of mini zoo and you saw a two-headed snake or a two-headed turtle or something like that, it's definitely going to pique your interest and you're going to want to learn more. And that's what it's all about, getting people to have curiosity enough to where they want to learn more about these amazing animals. And speaking of an amazing animal, of course we've got Chicken Strip here, the albino Nile monitor. And I've said this before, I mean, there's somewhere between 2 and 4 4 of these in the entire world. So he's definitely a very special and very rare animal. I'm not exactly sure how handleable he's going to be in the future. We're continuing to kind of habituate him to humans and handle him, and you can see that I'm never squeezing him. I'm letting him move around as much as he wants to so that I can continue to gain his trust. So hopefully when he does get 4 foot, 5 foot long, he's going to be very tame, and I'm not sure that we'll be able to just take him around kids or not. I'm not really sure yet, but nevertheless, even if we aren't able to take him around, which I hope we will be able to, he's going to be a great display animal because people are going to see this big, 4 or 5 foot Nile monitor that's an albino that's incredible, and that's definitely going to be like, holy cow. And that's what it's all about for me, man. I just want people to come in and be blown away and go, wow, that is awesome. I need to know more about reptiles. I forgot that I was supposed to tell you guys where I got everything. So Chicken Strip actually came from West Africa, Benin, West Africa. He was a hatched animal over in one of those farms, and that's when he came to me in the summer of last year. As far as Rick and Morty goes, I actually bought him from Strictly Reptiles down in Hollywood, Florida. I'm not exactly sure where they got him, but he certainly is only about a month old. And then there was RJ. RJ actually came in with another alligator when they were both only about a month old or so, and then shortly thereafter we ended up getting another confiscated and rescue alligator too. So at one point we had 3. We had Mitch, RJ, and J. Paul, and when they were little babies, one of them actually bit RJ's leg off. It was when we had him only for a couple weeks. I was so bummed, and RJ was such a special little dude. I just paid him all kinds of attention, and he just remained tame and calm, and he healed within like 2 or 3 weeks. You could barely tell that he was injured. It's amazing how alligators have that healing power, and they're just incredible animals. So I ended up rehoming the other 2 alligators to Critchlow's Alligator Sanctuary in Athens, Michigan, which I'll go visit again this spring. This is an amazing place. But the fact is RJ has been my buddy ever since, and he'll be with me for hopefully the rest of my life. I just absolutely love this guy to death. Okay, RJ, you ready to go back home, bud? Want to go back in? Slow, slow, slow. There you go. Good job, buddy. Good job. And off in the distance there, you guys can see that that's Bowser. He's an alligator snapping turtle. And my buddy Greg from Aquascape kind of surprised me. When they came to build this pond right here, he surprised me with this alligator snapping turtle that actually came from an alligator snapping turtle farm in Missouri that had about 30 or 40 adult males and needed to just weed one of them out. And guess what? He ended up with me. Again, not an animal that I'm going to pull out a whole bunch, but he's going to be an amazing animal, and I'm hoping to set up a really cool display where there's going to be glass sides so people can actually see him over in the new place. Whereas RJ's going to stay here in his pond here. We'll bring him over for presentations, but his life will be spent here in this pond. Right, RJ? Macklemore is a Macklemore python from the Indonesian area, but this guy actually came to me when I was at a White Plains reptile show, which is right outside of New York City. A really nice older guy, probably in his 70s, came up to me and said, I've been keeping reptiles for years and years and years, and there's just a few animals that I just can't keep anymore. Would you be interested in taking him? And literally, he just handed me Macklemore, and it was almost this size. He said it was 8 or 9 years old, and that was 5 years ago. So Macklemore is probably somewhere between 13 and 15 years of age and just been dog tame ever since. Some Macklemore pythons can be a little bit nippy, but Macklemore is incredible. Then of course there's Helen, the Noahide albino ball python, and look at how chubby she is. She just had a big meal a couple days ago and it's still digesting, so I'm not going to mess with her too much. But again, I think that this is a great animal so that when I'm doing a presentation, I can talk about disabilities and how an animal like Helen with no eyes can still thrive in captivity. I think it's just going to be a great way to touch a topic like disability, something that I'm always very supportive of, in a way to do it with a reptile. And then of course there's Smiley, my piebald python. I've had him now for about 2.5 or 3 months, and he actually came from a friend of mine that produces a ton of piebald ball pythons. So I think it came out of a batch of 25 babies that I bought from my friend, and surprisingly enough, there was that smiley face, and I was so excited about it. And actually my buddy Miguel over at Always Evolving Pythons, which by the way has a really cool YouTube channel, I'll put a link in the description. You guys definitely want to check his channel out because it is super rad. But regardless, he actually had a piebald that was named Smiley as well, and Smiley is usually really tame. He's a little bit angry at me today, but his piebald he named Smiley, so I kind of stole his name, so I apologize to you, Miguel. But regardless, Smiley is just going to be one of those animals that people are going to look and say, oh my god, you see that emoji on that snake? So it's really cool. And of course I have a ton of other snakes, like the Guyana red tails. I've got my Suriname red tails. The list goes on and on. There's colubrid snakes, there's lizards like Roswell, there's a ton of other animals, but I don't want want to keep you guys here for the next 20 hours, so I am going to end on my girl Verde here. That's right, she is a green anaconda, and ironically enough, she came from the same place that Perdita did. My buddy Kev McCurley over at NERD, or New England Reptile Distributors. He's an amazing breeder, and he's got great animals. And when he produced these, he sent me a text of him, and I said, I have to have a female. Pick me a female immediately. And so he picked Verde out for me, and he shipped her to her. And as you can see, she's in shed right now, so she's going to shed out. Like I had mentioned before, she's taken a couple fuzzies, but she's been slow to eat. There's no doubt about it. So I'm hoping that after she comes out of this shed, that she's going to really turn on and really become a huge animal, because again, there's nothing like an anaconda that just catches people's attention. Whenever you say, oh, check out my anaconda, especially if it's a 10, 12, 15 foot animal, people are just floored, and especially when you can show that they're super docile and super amazing animals, because for whatever reason, the perception of anacondas are they're mean, they're vicious, they're killers, and it couldn't be further from the truth, and Verde is going to change a lot of people's perceptions of what anacondas actually are. And with that said, I am going to go ahead and end the vlog here. I hope that that kind of updated you on my amazing ambassador animals, where they came from, what the story behind them is, if you've ever been wondering. And go down in the comments if I missed something that you want me to talk about, maybe an animal ambassador or another animal that I missed. Please let me know, and I'll do another one of these in the future. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed sharing it with you guys, and I think of all the people in the future that are going to be changed by these animals. That's what makes me so happy. Regardless, I hope that you have an amazing day, evening, morning, whenever you happen to be watching this. Your support means the world to me, and I love you guys so much. Can you do me a couple favors before we get out here? Can you smash that like button, as well as turn those post notifications on, so you know when I upload a video, which is every day, 7 days a week at 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. Remember to be kind to someone today, and I promise I'm going to see you guys tomorrow.